Hello Dave is brought to you ad-free by my supporters on Patreon. Become a Patreon yourself and get your name listed as a supporter at the end of every video by following the link in the video description. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Hello Dave with Down to Earth Astronomy. It is once again Monday, so let's have a look at what's been going on. Just like last week, news from the elite side has been a little silent. Again, this is not uncommon. We've seen this before when frontiers heading out into expos. A lot, pretty much I guess all of their marketing and PR guys are pretty busy right now, getting everything ready, or actually maybe already at, I don't know, they were at PAX East and Gamescom this year. So I would assume they're very busy, which I guess is why there's not a lot of information coming out regarding new updates. But talking about new updates, I mean, I wouldn't say we're getting close, but we have about a month and a half left of this quarter. And we are expecting an update this quarter. That means before the end of September, we should have another update. Now, last time with the Q2 update, they were out, I think, was it a month or month and a half before the end of the quarter, saying that the patch is going to be sooner than we think. And it then turns out that sooner than we think was apparently a few days before the end of the quarter. So I think something got delayed there. But there's a good chance, I think, that has also pushed the Q3 update out, or delayed that a little bit. So I would probably not expect to see that Q3 update before the end of September, very close to the end of September again. But I do believe we're gonna begin getting some information about what's gonna be added in this patch pretty soon. I would maybe, if they're gonna announce some things during some of the events they're at the moment, I don't know. Maybe they're doing something after when they come back. They're gonna announce something there, but I think that we're gonna get pretty close now to get some information, because so far there has been some leaks and speculations about the Great Phantom and does Chieftain Challenger? I can't remember. We all have the Chieftain Challenger. There should be a new Federation ship out as well. I forgot the name of it now, but not important. But anyway, that is the only news leaks that are floating around the Q3 update. But other than that, not a whole lot regarding that. But at least I think that in Hello Dave, in a maybe not next week, but in 2 weeks' time, 3 weeks' time, maybe then we're going to begin to see some updates. But that is not the most interesting news this time. The most interesting news this week is I found a situation where Marco Quint is actually a very useful engineer. See, that should have been the first news. That's breaking news right there. Marco Quint is useful. I was really baffled. I was in a situation where the best engineer for the task was actually Marco Quint. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Marco Quint has always been regarded as one of those useless engineers because he doesn't really do any grade 5 at all, and he's just a pain to unlock, and he stands in the way of getting access to Palin and stuff like that. So, but the situation was, I was sitting in Shinrata Deshra. I was putting the final touches on my Python mining build, which I might be showcasing. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to showcase that at some point. And I needed to do an upgrade in the power plant. The stock power plant already have plenty of power to what I needed, so I was going to go and do thermal spread. But there was a limit to how high of a level of thermal spread I could actually use, and it turned out with the loadout that I had, that I could fit a grade 4 thermal spread. Low emission, I could fit a grade 4 low emission engineering mod on it and still have enough power to power the ship if I put a monstrous special mod on. So in that case, Marco Quint was the closest engineer that could do a grade 4 power plant upgrade to Shinrata Deshra. He was only 60 something light years away, so only a few jumps. So in that situation, I can't remember the name of the other engineer that does power plants off the top of my head right now, but she was I think 200 and something light years away from Shinrata Deshra. Or at least in that specific situation, when you don't need a grade 5, but you're doing a lower grade thermal spread on your power plant, and you're sitting in Shinrata Deshra, in that case, Marco Quint is actually a useful engineer, but that's the first time I've ever encountered a situation where he was actually useful for anything than helping you unlock Palin. So that was a bit of a silly thing, but let's move on. The last 2 weeks I've been trying to find a interesting news, something new going on in real life astronomy, and I've done that again this week. You guys might have seen it. A new rogue planet has been discovered, and a rogue planet is a planet that is not orbiting any star. They're just floating out there in empty space. These are not uncommon at all. There are plenty of them. We have not really been that successful in finding that many of them, but we're pretty sure that there are plenty of them out there. At least there should be. The reason why we're not really that good at locating these planets is because often when we locate exoplanets, so planets around other stars, we don't actually observe the planets directly, but we observe the effect that planet has on the parent star. And since they don't have a parent star, since you're just floating out there in the emptiness of nothing, then they're very, very difficult to find, very difficult to spot. But this one's quite interesting. It's a rather large planet. It's 13 times the size of Jupiter. That's pretty big. I don't know if that is measured in volume or in radius. I actually haven't checked up on that. But regardless, it's a big one. It's a very big planet. And it's a quite fun one because it shows some of the shortcomings we have in many of the classification systems in astrophysics. Because it's really when it was discovered back in 2016, people originally classified it as a brown dwarf, so basically a failed star. But now that we got a little bit better observations of it, it turns out it doesn't really fall into our normal classifications of a brown dwarf, but neither does it really fall into the classification of what we call planets. So it's kind of a weird hybrid, like between a very large, very hot gas giant or a brown. It's kind of like in between kind of thing. It's really a weird planet. But as I said, very hot. It's not quite as hot as the sun, obviously. It's not large enough to support fusion. So, but it is a very hot planet. And the most interesting thing is its very strong magnetic field. And this is one of the reasons why people discovered it in the first place, I think. And the magnetic field is, people don't really seem to agree exactly on the strength of it. I've seen different references to how strong the magnetic field is, but it seems that it's around about 200 times the magnetic field of Jupiter, which is quite strong. That is very strong magnetic field, and that of course gives a lot of a kind of a self-sustained aurora borealis, or northern light, or polar light, or whatever you want to call it. Simply because the charged particles in the upper atmosphere of the planet, it's a gas giant, so it's nothing but atmosphere pretty much, is being captured by the magnetic field and pulled along the field lines, so along the surface or whatever of the planet, and then it is pulled down through the lower layers of the atmosphere along the northern and south pole of the planet. And that when it does that with these highly charged particles, is being accelerated down through the atmosphere, that creates this northern light. And we've seen the same effect happened on Jupiter, and of course we've also seen it here on Earth, where we also have the northern and southern light from time to time. And the reason why we don't have it that often is because the Earth atmosphere itself can't really produce that effect, so we need an external source, and that external source would often be a CME or a solar flare. CME is a coronal mass ejection, so a lot of mass is being ejected from the sun. It hits our magnetic field, which luckily protects us, so we don't get fried. And the charged particles from the sun then travel along the magnetic field lines, enters at the poles, and creates that beautiful northern light. So yeah, quite an interesting little find here. And again, so I don't know. I don't think there's going to be any future news on it. Often when you find these kind of things, things develop very slowly. As you can see, all they've done now is declassified it from a planet from a brown dwarf to a weird hybrid planet. and that's taken them since 2016. So, but anyway, I thought it was a fun little thing. And also, just in case you didn't know that we have rogue planets, then now you know. Then I need to give a shout out this week, and there's a guy or a few guys over on my Discord server, and they have over the last year almost. They've been working on a Discord like a bot, like a plugin thing you can invite to your Discord servers. This, I don't know how many of you guys have your own private servers out there or running communities on servers out there, but if you do, this might be of interest to you. The project is called Dave, which I thought it would be fitting here in Hello Dave, and basically it's a Discord bot that allows you to do a large variety of things, and I just need to find my quick notes here. Yeah, here they are. So the idea is that that is going to be able to do pretty much everything you would need. It will be able to be playing music, like if you want to play music in the voice chats. It will be able to make pulls from YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and then make automatic news updates. So if you have for instance, every time I post a video, I would manually go in and post it on Discord as well. But when this thing is up and running, it should be able to do that automatically, make a test and then post it. We'll do some basic moderation, set up some moderation rules, votes, giveaways, events, Google searches, and a variety of custom commands. A lot of the stuff is going to be added over the next week. I'm going to they actually made a small roadmap here, and I'm going to put these up. And the reason why I decided to give a shout out, because these guys are, I think, 15. I mean, these are just, they're a bunch of kids who decided to get into to programming and decided to make this project, which is why I think it's actually pretty cool. The bot has been beta tested on my own Discord server back earlier. I think currently it is disabled as they are continuing the development, but this is something that I'm keeping an eye on. So if you're interested in a project like this, I'll make sure to post a link in the description, both to their own Discord server, or talk to the guys, but also to the Patreon page where you can go and help the guys out. Because one of the issues they're hitting right now is that servers to run this thing on is becoming more and more expensive. I think right now the combined users on the servers which they bought, I can't remember how many servers they're on. But I think it was a total of around 8,000 users, and they're beginning to run into issues with servers. So they need to rent bigger servers to run this thing on, which is why I'm also going to link to their Patreon page if you want to help them out there. Yeah. Then, as always, we're just quickly gonna touch on events upcoming this week. For the last couple of weeks, I've really been wanting to do a community event again, as we've done before, but I don't know, it's for some reason it's keep getting postponed. So unfortunately it will not be this Tuesday, but again I'm gonna try to see if I can get something up and running. But yeah, there will be live streams this week. Again, I haven't really planned too much this week, so I think I've been thinking of is. Previously on the channel, I would often have like small other games that I played that I would upload maybe every other week or something like that. Now, the last time I had a small game like that was when I played Kerbal Space Program, which I stopped that series after they turned out that their EULAL end-user license agreement was really not very user-friendly at all. The amount of information they would collect and share with third parties was, well, frankly, a bit scary, I think. So that's why I kind of put that game aside. I've been thinking about if I should give No Man's Sky a look, but I've also been wanting to get into to other games like Osiris New Dawn. I played that during the beta, and I really want to get back now that the game is actually launched. But the problem is that often these series or small other things in elite projects kind of thing, they often end up dying out after some time. So I've been considering if I should begin to just do unannounced live streams where I'm just going to say, okay, tonight I'm going to play this game and I'm going to live stream it while I play it. You can come by and watch it. Wouldn't replace the Tuesday live stream, but then I could try and keep the Tuesday live stream as a more elite focus and then do other things on other days. But that's something that I am considering. But again, tomorrow probably is going to be something to do with elite. I was considering taking the the new mining Python out for a spin. If not that, then I could potentially begin. The next build project I'm gonna do is I'm gonna begin looking into a anti-Xeno build, so anti-Thargoid build. Exactly what ship, what modules, and there will be a lot of unlocking that I'll need to do probably of Guardian weapons. I haven't really looked into that yet, but I might consider beginning looking into it, because there are some modules we can pretty much be sure that we're gonna need. Like, we're gonna need some shield boosters, we're gonna need some armor, so we can begin to work around some of that. So what are those two things? Let me know in the comment section what you would actually like to see for the live stream tomorrow. Should we test the mining Python and the speed prospecting tactic, or should we go and begin look at anti-Thargoid builds? Yes, one last thing that I need to want to mention is hopefully you haven't noticed, but I brought in a set of new lights. Previously, I would have a pretty decent ring light that would be used to light up my face with the front, but then I would have two cheap IKEA lamps, which would be what is lighting up the background behind me, meaning that I was very low on light on the background, so it would be very dark in the render. So that means if I was wearing a black shirt or the black leather on the chair behind me, it would often be very noisy to look at. Simply because the background was so dark. So I got myself a new pair of lights, and well, hopefully you haven't noticed, because if you haven't, then that means that I pretty much did the white balancing of the camera correctly, and that the setup is not too awful. But at least they are here now, and just to give you an idea of how much light is actually behind me, if I lean back, you can see that I'm getting very overexposed on the cameras, is because they basically just one right here, and there's then also one over here. That's now lighting up the background. So that should mean that I can make a little bit cleaner chroma keying on both Hello Dave and of course also all my other videos. Still need to fine tune things. There are some dark patches here and there. I need to find some way to light up a little bit better. But anyway, it is definitely improving. And of course, stuff like this. I mean, these are professional studio lights that I have up here now, and I wouldn't be able to buy the thing if it wasn't because of you guys who are on Patreon. This is some of the things that I will use it for, to try and improve the quality of the videos that you guys watch. So thanks a lot for that. Thanks to all you guys who've been supporting Patreon, regardless of whether you're new or if you've been here for a very long time. But I'm gonna call it here for today. It's been a very long Hello Dave this week, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway. If you did, give it a like down below. Remember to subscribe to the channel, and until next time, I will see you guys in space.